expensive wines really worth their price tag? I'm going to jump into that topic today on our video. My name's Tim. I am from Elma Wine and Liquor. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. So, are expensive wines really worth that price? That's debatable. I am not going to give you a clear-cut answer, or maybe I will, but one of the things I want to go over first is why some wines have very high price tags to help you and help us decide whether or not those prices are really worth it. There's lots of factors that go into making wine, as with any product. There are lots of variables that can increase or decrease the end product based on just a pure cost of goods sold formula. However, as with any other business, the wine world has certain factors that are slightly less tangible that can impact the price of the wine. For starters, just branding in itself. Caymus Vineyards, been around for 49 vintages, as it says right on the top of the bottle, produces amazing wines out of Napa Valley, California, and some other locations now as well. The Wagner family has been at it for a while. They've got a great brand behind them that has been built up over years. So if you took this exact same wine inside this bottle and threw it into a different bottle with no brand behind it, you might not be able to sell it for quite as much. You might if you're a good salesman and you have bottles open for people to taste, but chances are you won't, because the branding behind that bottle is so strong. It makes a great gift because people know that brand, so to be able to be willing to spend a few extra bucks on it, knowing that the person that receives it is going to recognize that you didn't just go to the cheapest bottle you could find and give them a gift. That brand helps kind of dissuade some of that fear when you're gifting a bottle to somebody. Along those lines, kind of as I mentioned, the Wagner family is behind Caymus. They have spun off numerous other brands and companies because of their branding themselves as winemakers, which is kind of leads into one of the other factors that go into making a wine a little bit more expensive. The more successful a winemaker is, the more price that they can charge for that particular wine. Jeff Ames, who makes Anthem Cabernet, has consistently put out 93 to 100 point wines over his 20 plus year winemaking career that gives him credibility as a winemaker, where a consumer that's in the know about the winemaker making their wine is going to be willing to pay a little bit extra because they know and probably like that style that the winemaker's putting out. Almost a brand in itself, the winemaker kind of helps sell that wine, helps put a winery on a map. That's why you'll oftentimes see once a winemaker attains certain success levels, they become consulting winemakers for other brands or especially newer brands, to help get them on the map and help get their product out there. So the winery has to pay these big name winemakers more money because they know that they have that brand behind them. Dave Finney from Prisoner Orange Swift Wines is another example of that. That just kind of, because that price tag goes up for the winery, the price tag on the shelf is going to go up as well. Those are the couple of the factors. So we have the branding itself tied into the winemaker, the quality of the winemaker. Another factor that goes into increasing the price of wine on the shelf is location. Location. I mentioned Napa Valley. This is also Napa Valley. Even within Napa Valley, which Napa Valley produces some of the most expensive fruit in the world because of what winemakers are willing to pay for it, because of the cachet that name has when they put it on the label. But even within Napa Valley, there are certain locations that are even more highly desired than just a generic Napa Valley label, such as Mountain Veeder for this one. Particular area on a mountain that grows particularly good quality grapes. So the location matters when it comes to putting it on the label for the consumer, but also just in the quality of the grapes that are grown in that particular area. It doesn't just magically become a well-known area with a high price tag. It becomes that way because the grapes that are grown there are very good quality. So location, location, location is super important when it comes to why a wine might cost a little bit more. So we have branding, we have winemakers, we have location, and then viticulture. So how the grapes are actually grown. I did another video on terroir, which is the environment, the climate, the soil types that affect how the grapes are grown. But another important aspect of that is how they are actually farmed. So who's taking care of the grapes? How carefully are they taking care of the grapes when they're on the vine? Are they irrigating? Are they not irrigating? Are they over irrigating? Are they trimming back some of the buds early enough so that the grapes that do ripen, they end up with less but better quality? Are they taking care of the vineyards on cool evenings? There's potential frost risk, especially here in New York. They will early in the season and late in the season, depending on how late they're letting the vines, the grapes hang on the vine. They might need to start fire pits in the winter, in the cool months, overnight, to make sure that frost doesn't settle on the grapes and ruin their whole crop. It also happens during the bud breaks. So how well those grapes are being cared for during the growing process is also a very important factor. You're going to spend more money on more workers to properly trim all of the vines and to take care of them, and weeding and soil care, irrigation. The price tag is going to go up a little bit for that extra work. So branding, winemakers, location, 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 viticulture, how the grapes are actually cared for. These are all factors that can go into what makes a wine more expensive. Another one is cooperage. So a cooper is somebody that makes a barrel. Cooperage is the aging of wine in barrels, or just aging in general. Some wine spends years from when they pick the grapes to when that bottle is actually released for sale. It can be 3, 4, 5, 7 years of waiting for that winery to release it to the public. Now, when it's aging in oak barrels, there's also risk that the wine just spoils. There might be too much oxygen or too many other factors going in, and they lose a whole barrel sometimes. They can get a leak. They're made out of. There's barrels are made out of wood. They do leak occasionally. So if they lose a bottle, 20 bottles, 100 bottles to a leak, that's quite a big impact on them. Time value of money. There are just, the fact that this inventory is tied up for so long costs the winery more, storage fees, all that type of thing. The type of oak that they use for that cooperage. French oak barrels can go from $800 to over $4,000 for a fresh barrel. American oak might be $300 to $600. Eastern European, Hungarian, Slovenian might be in that $700-800 to a couple, to $1,000 or $1,200. So all these different factors go into the wine, and all those different types of oak will impact the wine a little bit differently, because those oak trees are grown in different terroir themselves, different soil types, different growing climates, different weather. So cooperage is another big factor. So this Coto de Amaz Rioja was a Gran Reserva. So this was a 2017 vintage, which means the grapes were picked in 2017. I'm filming this video at the end of 2024. This is a current vintage from the winery. So this was recently released for sale. It spent 2 years in oak barrels before being bottled, and then it spends at least 3 years in bottle before it's released to the public. So that aging time just adds to the holding cost of the vineyard, which impacts the price. Another factor that goes into the price of the wine is bottle design, label, cork, weight of the bottle, all these different types of things. You can see on some wine bottles, especially on the nicer bottles, they opt for a much heavier bottle with a deeper punt that helps indicate quality. It could also just be because they know that juice is so expensive, they want a more durable bottle that's less likely to break during shipping. The style, the size can impact the bottling lines, can impact the case structure that they buy, can impact the shipping weight. The heavier the bottles are going to cost a lot more to ship. The lighter bottles might be lighter weight, but they might lose more to shipping. So they might have to raise the price because they know they're going to lose a certain amount. So all that design, how much goes into this, like a screen printed versus a nice quality paper with gold leafing on it, all can impact that price point for the wine. Do they add value to the wine? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not to the actual juice, but they do help with the branding. So those are some of the key factors that go into what makes a wine more expensive. Branding, the winemakers, the location, the viticulture, the cooperage, the quality of the style, design choices in the bottles and the labels. All very important pieces of trying to sell your wine, and all add different elements of cost to those bottles of wine. So, is expensive wine worth the price tag? It's really a personal, individual choice for everybody that drinks wine. There are wines that I have personally had at $15, $20, $25 that are outstanding, great quality, really enjoyed them, would be happy to drink them anytime. There are amazing bottles that I've had at $150, $250, $350 a bottle that are also outstanding. Whether or not it is worth that price on a regular basis or not is really an individual choice. It depends on what you like, what you enjoy, and what you're willing to spend on it. One of the things I alluded to early on, when you're giving a gift, sometimes it is nicer to find a wine with a brand. However, the flip side to that is, if you really know your products and really know your wine and really enjoy your wine, and or shop in a store where you can really trust the employees and their opinions, you can find some very lesser known wines at a great value that'll really wow the recipient of that wine. So, really hope you enjoyed today's video. I look forward to hearing in the comments below what you guys think of whether or not expensive wines are worth it. I'm really, it's a highly debatable topic, and I'm sure we can have a good discussion in the comments about it. Please like and subscribe, share this video with a friend, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers.